What's up, guys? Swift here, covering everything Chicago Bears. Today I'm breaking down the Bears trade deadline deals and what it means for the future. We had a big day at the trade deadline, trading a second round pick for Montez Sweat. On top of that, Jaylen Johnson requested a trade and talked to other teams about a deal, but was not moved. A report surfaced on Twitter saying that Jaylen Johnson will not negotiate a new deal until after the season is over. To me, this means JJ wants to prove his worth and finish the season strong. Some people took this as he wants to be a free agent and leave the Bears. While that could be true, I believe JJ wants a long-term deal. If Poles can manage to work one out before March, then JJ will be happy and be a Bear long-term. If they don't, though, he could still be franchise tagged and stay here anyway. But either way, Jaylen Johnson remains a Bear at least for the rest of this season. Now I want to talk a little bit more detail about the Montez Sweat trade. After I released my video yesterday, Chase Young was traded to the 49ers for a conditional third-round pick. A lot of people are missing this and just think it's a third-round pick. That third rounder can go up to a second rounder as well if Chase Young meets certain playing time requirements. The details haven't been released. This caused some fans to overreact though, considering we gave up a higher pick for Sweat than the 49ers did for Chase Young. There are multiple reasons for this. Let me explain. First of all, Chase Young reportedly did not want to sign a long-term extension, and he wants to test free agency next year. That makes him a perfect rental for the 49ers. They gave up a conditional third, but since they are over the cap and can't afford to sign him long-term, that means Chase Young will get his wish and gets to become a free agent just 4 months from now. Because of that, though, the 49ers are also going to get a third-round compensation pick back for him and get one for Mike McGlinchey this year as well. So this was a very low risk gamble for the 49ers. Meanwhile, for the Bears, they plan to sign Montez Sweat long term, not just have a 10-game rental like the 49ers are. Multiple teams offered second rounders for Sweat according to sources, including the Atlanta Falcons, but the Bears had the highest second round pick offer. And then think about this when it comes to Chase Young. No other team in the entire NFL even offered a third-round pick for him. What does that tell you? A couple of things. It tells me that nobody wants to give up a valuable draft pick just to rent a player. Only teams with extra picks that are competing for a Super Bowl would even consider a move like that. It also tells me that teams have questions about the health of Chase Young's knee long-term. I've heard some rumors, but I won't comment. We'll see what happens with him in 4 months. When we get to free agency, will a team offer him a long-term big money deal? Could Ryan Poles even still land Chase Young via free agency? We'll find out this offseason. But what does this trade for Montez Sweat and not trading Jaylen Johnson mean for the rest of this season for the Bears? Well, it's pretty clear that this front office isn't throwing in the towel or tanking at 2-6. Nobody can argue that this year. Ryan Poles is still trying to win. You don't trade for one of the best pass rushers in the NFL and give away a valuable second-round pick in next year's draft if you aren't trying to win football games. Honestly, this could be really big for evaluating Matt Eberflus down the stretch. It was pretty clear that his defense doesn't work without pressure from the front four, and we needed more talent at defensive end. Ryan Poles went out and made that happen. So if Eberflus doesn't look better down the stretch, he may just punch his own ticket out of town. I do think this defense is going to play a lot better, though, very soon. We got a lot of guys who have gotten healthy. I think Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens, as well as Tyreek Stevenson and Terrell Smith, are just going to keep getting better and better. Same with Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. And then adding Montez Sweat to this defensive line is going to make it a lot better. But the final thing I wanted to talk about is, what does this trade say for Justin Fields? Some people call me crazy about this, but I believe this move again echoes Ryan Poles' support and belief for our quarterback one. Call me crazy, but if you don't believe in Justin and planned on starting the rebuild over again next year by drafting another quarterback and effectively hitting the reset button, why on earth would you trade for a 27-year-old pass rusher? I guess you could make the argument that drafting another quarterback opens that window again and gives Poles 4+ years to pay guys like Montez Sweat. But the problem is, this move screams, I want to win in 2024. And if we want to win in 2024, I think the best course is continuing to build around Justin Fields and spending those 2 first-round picks to make the roster around him better. It's a simple fact in the NFL. Rookie quarterbacks don't win many games. There are some crazy exceptions to this, but it's why I was such a big fan of the trade that Ryan Poles was able to pull off with the Panthers. I said it all along. I had a lot of guys in my comments, and even my buddy Jordan, telling me that the Panthers were going to be a lot better than anyone expected this year, and they could win the NFC South, and I was just like, I don't see it. I said all along, we're going to get a top 10, maybe top 5 pick from the Panthers, and so far this year, that's playing out perfectly. So that's my point though. Rookie quarterbacks simply don't win a lot in the NFL, and this move to me is saying that Ryan Poles wants to win now. Now that we have Montez Sweat, Ryan Poles just crossed off the biggest need we had heading into next year's draft. I've been scouting these pass rushers for months now because to me it was easily our #1 need on this roster. With Montez Sweat, I have to reevaluate those needs. I think another top tier wide receiver moves really high up on the list. This move definitely gives Poles the flexibility to add a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. or Keon Coleman during the draft. I also think our center position needs to be addressed, and it's way up on our priority list. But I think that is something that could be addressed in free agency or with a day 2 pick. I do not see a center even going in round 1 this year. And then the big question becomes at left tackle, depending on how Braxton Jones finishes up this season. I hope he comes back this week. I have faith in Braxton that he can solidify that spot and be the left tackle of the future, which would give Ryan Poles even more freedom in the draft. I think safety and a potential replacement for Eddie Jackson could be on the horizon too, so I will be scouting safeties more now, especially after the Montez Sweat trade. Also, while no news has come out yet, I do believe a Montez Sweat long-term deal will be announced soon. There are reports speculating it's not going to happen, but I think he has to get to Chicago and pass a physical first. But I just believe that due to how the NFL usually operates in big trades like this, that they at least have the parameters of a deal set in stone before they made the trade. Montez Sweat is not going anywhere. He's a Chicago Bear. But to me, I just think this move signals that Poles is trying to win with Justin Fields. Maybe I'm crazy, but I still dream of drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. Having Fields with Marv and DJ Moore would be a dream come true for me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Give me your thoughts after we've had a day to kind of take this in here. Remember to hit the like button for me, and until next time, bear down.